Yeah, Israel 1 through 12. What you know about it? King talk. Follow me. They taught us lies and chased the image of his greatness. Gave us religion and it was off to the races. You got your idols and you wanna play your favorites. Same color, don't matter, your mind frame's basic. I kick truth and cover all bases. I'm talking facts and you wanna call me racist. I'm in the game with a handful of aces. Explore Job 9:24 and peep the fakeness. The gay vandals change their faces, a damn shame. False image in your picture frame. It's not a game of ignorance, got my spirit inflamed. I'm talking renaissance. You prance around like a debutante. Prideful and ignorant, the spirit of people love to flaunt. It's carte blanche when we set up shop on your block. To teach the word, the cream rises to the top. Got my feet firm in the pavement. Taking out these zombies, witches, and these pale-faced cavemen. And don't provoke or get hung like my hat and my coat. You heard Christ was white, but that was just a hope. Studs and fringes in my fatigue coat. And we hope to eliminate all wickedness, but suckers keep bumping their gums, sounding ridiculous. You wanna know who it is? It's a moth, IQAhmath first name, the rest of y'all the straight lane. Here we go, I gotta let you know, I keep it 100, you keep it COINTELPRO. Whoa, so don't even trip, I got a sword in my hand, I ain't scared to let it rip. I'm here to let you know, I keep it 100, you keep it COINTELPRO. Whoa, so don't even trip, I got a sword in my hand, I ain't scared to let it rip. It's time to get rid of you, trapped in the black mirror. Subject to political theater, you won't hear the sound of the trumpet. Load the clip and dump it. There's no touching the Most High's beloved. These niggas want me to stop teaching, change the subject. My mood fluctuates up and down like your budget. Here's a little nugget, cash it in if you like. In the world of darkness, the only light you got is Christ. I'm trapped in hell, but I meditate calmly. Don't follow crowds, I'm avoid you zombies. Giving my fringes, to hell with Abercrombie. My conscience clear, fear won't allow me to break the mold. Follow the globe, to teach the laws and commandments, I ain't breaking the code. Slaves bought and sold, identity never told. It's hard to stay hot in the world so cold. This shit is sad, grown men dressed in drag. Hit him with the law, them niggas be hauling ass. Catfish on the gram wearing a mask, trying to gather this 1/3 for sure is a tough task, but I stay focused, giving hope to the hopeless. Kwam Yasha Allah, the slogan, so take notice. Plague a locust to those with bogus motives. Bury him 6 feet deep to smell the roses. Here we go, I gotta let you know, I keep it 100, you keep it COINTELPRO. Whoa, so don't even trip, I got a sword in my hand, I ain't scared to let it rip. I'm here to let you know, I keep it 100, you keep it COINTELPRO. Whoa, so don't even trip, I got a sword in my hand, I ain't scared to let it rip.
And that is a fact, man. All praise, honor, and glory to the Most High. This is your brother Ahmath, IQAhmath first name. IQ is all the same. Back with another one. Welcome back, brothers and sisters, to another episode of Don't Shoot the Messenger. DSTM is the acronym. If you've been around, you've been picking up what I've been putting down. But if you have not, don't get too close because you might get shot. Shabbat shalom to the family. Prayerfully, everybody's doing well. Everybody's been checking in. Shalom to y'all and y'all families. While people are out there being distracted, a lot of things been going on. And Lord knows, there's a lot that was going on, in particular in our nation for the last 7 days. One brother in his household has been in the mouths of many an Israelite. It's camp, many Israelite, right? I'm not going to waste time on that subject matter today. But I'm going to talk about some things tomorrow. And not in particular that brother's household and his situation. Because it ain't necessarily solely about that. It's about the well-being of the nation, right? But we'll get to that tomorrow, most high willing. Tonight, we got to figure out what was going on while our people was being distracted, sipping tea and in the rumor mills and, looking for the gossip and looking for the slander, looking for the backbiting. We're always looking for a nice little thing to entertain us. But when it comes down to edification, when it comes down to things that we need to really be clearly aware of, we kind of miss the boat, and it's always good to be aware of and knowing what's going on within our community, what's going on. Look, the scriptures even provide that or tell us that. Let me get the scripture in, I believe it's in Proverbs 27. Scriptures tell us, man, we got to know everything, right? Proverbs 27, 23. Be thou diligent to know the state of thy flocks and look well to thy herds. So we should understand and know what's going on within your body, your congregation, within your peer group, within your nation in general, right? But in particular, those that are overseers of flocks, the Lord said we have to be diligent to know the state of thy flock. Technically, all the men that are leaders within our nation, we're all supposed to be diligent to know the state of the flock of the nation, right? And look well to thy herd. We're supposed to have the well-being of the nation in our minds at all times, man. Right? And Sirach 5:15 gives us plenty of understanding as well. Be not ignorant of anything in a great matter or small. So it's not so much, and it's not that big of a, well, it is kind of an issue. Let me be clear. Regarding the drama that's going on, gotta be aware of it. Absolutely. Absolutely, right. But we have to be balanced. We got to be balanced in this thing because we were just talking about it earlier. Me and my sons were just talking about all the distraction that's going on, and we just talking about the things that's going on in the world. Those Epstein files and got completely lost in the shuffle. Ain't nobody talking about Epstein no more. Nobody's coming down on Agent Orange and wondering what was going on with him. The terror that ICE was running rampant for the last 6 months, 8 months, 9 months, wreaking havoc in the streets and sending every black and Hispanics running for their lives, getting detained, getting beat, getting shot, locked up in alligator Alcatraz, and all those things. We didn't forgot about all them other things, you know. One thing we got to do is we got to remain balanced. Proverbs 11:1, a false balance is an abomination to Yahweh. So while there is things that are of a concern to our nation, no question, that and need to be addressed accordingly, there's other things that we got to stay balanced on, man. We got to keep our head on a swivel. You cannot be constantly looking this way and constantly feeding on the things that's most pleasurable to you, which is the drama, I was going to say it, the BS, right? We always say it, man. When it comes down to what brothers and sisters intake in particular, and there's no problem with it, but again, be balanced. The things that our people are most entertained by, and notice I use that word entertained by, is street teaching. And if it ain't that, when it comes down to actual structured sit down lessons of learning, how to live, learn, and apply these scriptures, man, Israel don't want to hear that. We want the drama. We want the tea. We want to see 1,000,001 body parts flying all over the place through spiritual cuttings that goes on out on the streets, because we're entertained by that. There's one thing if you're a brother and you're diligent and you're saying, hey, you know what? Let me write down these precepts, man. I like how the brother dealt with that particular Christian right there. I like how he dealt with that topic on Kemet. I like how the brother dealt with that topic on Islam. I like how he healed that sister, man. She was going through it in her life. Brother brought her to tears, man. Brought her back to the Most High through weeping. You write those things. Yeah, that's cool. But if your sole focus is, man, well, did you see the latest? You're imbalanced. You're imbalanced. And the Most High said that's an abomination. So let's stay balanced in this thing again. So tonight we dealing with what's important, what's going on, what did our people miss while we were distracted. And then tomorrow, we'll look at and we'll address some of the things that's going on as it pertains to our nation, right? Lord willing. But a lot of things been going on, man. These AI data centers, man, I know I talked about it a couple of weeks ago, but it's getting even more insidious, man, more evil. And the more that I look at it, the more that I'm looking into it and I'm seeing what's really going on, it's wild, man. Esau is really going for it all. When the scriptures say, man, we know. Let's get the basic script, not a basic scripture. My elder, IQAhmath, may rest. May he rest well. Always said, never say the basics, or we're going over the basics of the scripture. You can never say anything that the word of the Most High is basic. That means you are subjecting the Most High to being low level or base in his knowledge. There's nothing basic about these scriptures. Yeah, the scripture may say some things are written plain upon tables and easy to understand, sure, but it's never basic. You would think, when we were walking around there in the world in ignorance, that reading Job 30 and 30 says, my skin is black upon me. You would think that was a basic scripture that we all should know. But no, in our ignorance in the world, we had no idea. But when we read it, my mind was blown. What? Brother said he's black. Oh, Christ, dark skin man, white woolly hair. Oh, fiery eyes. What? Daniel 10. Oh, yeah, skin like bronze. Oh, yeah. What? Ancient of Days in Daniel 7. Hair like wool, sitting on a fiery throne. Moses put his hand in his bosom and came back and turned lepers to snow, put it back in, it came as his other flesh. Those things we would now consider basic, but was it basic when you got it? Or was it like advanced level of whoa? Deuteronomy 28, the curses, and all, those are all fundamental understandings that we learn to help us grow and solidify our spirits in the truth. Now, once you're in the truth, some years or whatever, you consider those things basic, but was it basic when you got it and received it and saw the visual aids and started seeing the histories and, it wasn't basic. So nothing is ever basic. So always remember that. The Most High is vastly in depth with his scriptures. And he said he's not given us to know all of his marvelous works. He's given us just enough that we need to know. He said, I didn't give you you're not going to declare all my marvelous works. Right? So Job 9:24, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. So there's no question who is controlling the earth right now. And if we could all agree on that individual or that nation or that conglomerate of peoples, whether they go under the moniker of being Russian, British, French, Scandinavian, American, South African. Well, no, let's take that out because you got Jake down there. But you get the point. Portuguese, Spanish, whatever. They all share one bloodline. That's through Esau, the Edomites. They're in control of they control the banks. They control the entertainment. They've got the strongest military. They control world governments. They're the ones running coups throughout the earth, inputting their own leadership and their own democracies and their own governmental structures, right? They're the ones who've taken over and wiped out, genocided numerous brown-skinned nations throughout the earth. Who's in control of the earth, right? Air, sea, land, who's running it? We all should know that. Now, with that being understood, the scriptures say that these same people are wicked. But see, we're wrong when we say it. You can't say that. That's not right. You need to be canceled. For what? Because the Bible said that there's a description of these people. Their mannerisms, how they rule is wicked. And you know what's so interesting is now that they're eating each other alive like cannibals and they're starting to see it within their own right, you see what's happening with MAGA and the Maha movements and all of that. They're all breaking down. All of them is running ship. They're all button heads. They're going online from Candace Owens and all them, biting at each other's heels. And what's the other cat? Nick Fuentes and Harvey Levin and all these cats, man. Let alone all the government people that's, running and jumping ship. Because they're seeing it. Man, this ain't right. He ain't right. They're like, he's a liar. He's been lying to me. They've been lying to me. I've been lying to them. Like, now they see it. And we've been sitting back laughing with popcorn saying, told you. Mm-hmm. Told you. Now let's continue. The earth is given to the hand of the wicked. He covered the faces of the judges thereof. How did he cover the faces of the judges? He's done it through the Renaissance era, where he covered up many of the holy pictures and inscribings of our people. He's covered up the faces of the judges by acknowledging and saying that he's the people of the Lord. Who or how else can be the ones that judge the earth, right? Unless you have law. Let's just look at it from a plain perspective. Going to court. A judge needs to understand and knows the law, right? The children of Israel were given the laws. We're the ones who are the judges, right? Look, even if we go to Romans 7, people love to say, you can't judge me. Really? All right. So Romans 7:1 says, know ye not, brethren, for I speak to them that know the law, how that the law have dominion over a man as long as he liveth, right? Now, if we drop down and I want to read, where's that one at? Where is it when it says, but I know it's in here. I gotta be patient. And verse that says, he that spiritual judges. Maybe that's not it. Let me find that one. My bad. First Corinthians 2:15. I thought Romans 7. That ain't it. So getting back to Job, right? First Corinthians 2:15 says, but he that is spiritual judgeth all things. And we just got to reading in Romans 7 that the law is spiritual, right? So by us being spiritually guided by the law, statutes, and commandments, we're being led by a moral code, a civil code, a dietary code, a ceremonial code, right? These are all things that the Lord says that we have to judge ourselves by. This is the standard that's being set. This is how we balance good, evil, right, wrong, sin, righteousness. It's through the law. But you can't judge me. Only God can judge. How is he going to judge you? How is he going to judge you? He's going to judge you by the law that he laid down, right? Ain't no different than when you go to court. And we always say, man, I dare you tell the judge, you can't judge me. Only God can judge me. Some people be so quick to, man, bump their gums and turn down the word of the Lord. But as soon as they get in front of some damn white judge, some pot-belly white judge, they're going to sit back and say, yes, sir. No, sir. Your Honor, I plead innocent, please. Crying in court and the whole nine. You won't tell him he can't judge you. But as soon as the man of the Lord go out there and say, hey, brother, don't shave your beard off anymore. Man, who y'all niggas, man? You can't tell me what to do, man. God ain't gonna, only God can judge me, nigga. See, that's the problem. And we trying to tell you, this is how he's gonna judge you, brother. You see two sodomites, man, if they on the sidelines kissing, you tell them, hey, man, that's an abomination according to the word of the Lord, man. You need to straighten up. No effeminate man is going to make it to the kingdom of heaven. You better get your act together. God's going to judge you. He's going to put you to death. You can't judge me. Leave us alone. I'm not judging you. I'm telling you how you're going to be judged. If I judged you, the Most High said, put you to death. We don't have the power to do so. Our job is to teach repentance and tell you the error of your ways and get right. But he that is spiritual judgeth all things, yet he himself is judged of no man. So why did I go to all of this? Getting back to Job, we're the righteous judges of the earth, right? But he covers us up, giving us names: African American, Black, colored, Latino, Hispanic, Native American, Indigenous, Spick, nigga, Injun Joe, all this stuff. Let alone covering the faces of the judges now with the greatest forms of identity theft by proclaiming themselves to being the people, giving themselves the title of Israeli, calling themselves after the land, but not after the lineage of Israel, our forefather Jacob. So we covered the faces of the judges thereof. And the Lord said, now, if not, where and who is he? If you know better than the Most High, if you've been able to figure it out better than him, you say, where and who is he? Where is he and who is he? We've got to narrow down. Central Command of Satan, USA, under Satan's authority, is running right here. The great whore that sitteth on many waters, where all of the nations come to live deliciously with her and, deal with mercantile business, land of milk and honey. Come over here where all your dreams can be fulfilled. I just saw, I guess it's like a mini series, documentary, whatever, about social media. It's on HBO. I forgot the name of it, but how social media, social media turns deadly. And I saw this episode last night, and it was a Pakistani woman living in Tennessee. So I guess they got a small little Pakistani community in Tennessee, and she was struggling with the conservative nature that Islam presents to her, and how she was raised, and the traditions that the Pakistanis grow up in, and the Southeast Asians, how they live, and her being exposed to America, high school, everything else, the provocative clothing. She ends up, sipping that wine. She tried to hang long as she could. She had a little Edomite boyfriend, had to hide him. Then they ended up had to break it off because she wanted to get married and have a family. And under Pakistani tradition and Islamic law, she had to marry a fellow Pakistani. So she got married. Long story short, she couldn't take it. She ended up divorcing the Pakistani cat. Wants to go back. She wants to be part of the world. She's a photographer. She dressing provocative, and they was on her, but all her people was on her, like, you whore, Satan got you, and da 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 da. And now what ended up happening is she divorced her husband. She started, getting out there in the world and chasing her dreams. The husband popped back up, man, and put her to death, and himself to death. But that's what happens when you get caught up in wanting to sip that wine. We've got to narrow down that this is the place where all the nations want to take part, to the point to where they will give up everything. This is a little off subject, but this is how it goes. First Maccabees chapter 1. Come on, man. Why this thing don't never want to act right? First Maccabees 1, and I'm gonna get back over here. Now look, First Maccabees 1:41. Moreover, King Antiochus wrote to his whole kingdom that all should be one people, and this is important too. As we go over some of these articles and go over some of this information. Yeah, Nimrod would be the first one to try to establish a new world order, right? He wanted everybody to speak the same, wanted everybody to be one people, and wanted to have a complete dominion under the Tower of Babel and so forth and so on, right? Most High had to break all that up. Now, the so-called white man still has the same vision, to have everybody be one people, to follow after him, his ways, his customs, his religion, his idolatry, his evils, from the monetary system to the system of worship, you name it, everybody's going to be one. As everybody should know by now, this is what we're dealing with: the Hellenist movement and the Jews that compromised and became Greeks, right? But look who did it first. Who follows Esau first? And everyone should leave his law. So all the heathen agreed, according to the commandment of the king. First ones in line is the heathen. They the first one. Oh, okay, yeah, we'll do it, boss. We on it. I seen another video today where they were talking about how Indians, meaning the East Indians, Elam, the children of Elam, are racist against black people, right? And how Elam, man, they do not like us. They do not like y'all. Don't get it twisted. Right? And one Elamite, he was breaking down the history, and he was right. He said, look, I got a problem. He said, I know I made a post one day. I guess he's on TikTok or something. Uh, Somebody was doing like a reaction on YouTube from various clips. But he was acknowledging, he was saying, I made a post about my people hating on African Americans. I was wrong. But then he went and broke all the history down. He said, look, at the end all be all, and cutting it short, he said that uh, Elam was restricted from coming over here and from migrating over here up until 1965. They would only let them in by the hundred, like 100 at a time. And then after the civil rights movement, after Jakes got beaten and dog sicked on them and lynched and hung and had to march and wait for legislative changes and all of that, they came in and rode the wave on the civil rights movement. He said, look, you owe it to black people that you're even able to come to America and be prosperous and all that. If they didn't pay the dues, and that's how it always goes. That's how it always goes. See, I'm moving in the spirit, man, and y'all bear with me. That's how it always goes. Is we don't never get credit for what we do. The nations take full advantage, and when it's all said and done, damn it, hold on. I want to go to Wisdom of Solomon. Okay, I guess this thing is tripping. Wisdom of Solomon. Let's go to chapter 5, I believe. And yeah, just verse 1. Get right to the point. Then shall the righteous man stand in great boldness before the face of such as have afflicted him and made no account of his labors. You understand? Made no account of our labors, man. That ain't just the so-called women. All of these nations, man, who have not acknowledged everything that the blacks and Hispanics, Native Americans have gone through, and they profiteer off of it, they remain complicit to it, they're all going to pay for it. So, getting back to the point, when we're looking at who's in control of the earth and everything that they have to account for, the Lord said, make no mistake about it. He's moving fast forward with trying to establish his new world order. He's trying to move fast forward and establishing a global dominance, the beast system to be fully activated. And we're going to look at some of those things right now. All right. I'm going to get right to it. We know that the wars and rumors of wars are still on and cracking. Let's not be ignorant of that, right? Earlier this week, remember last week, Putin told all the diplomats from Europe and everywhere else, he said, man, y'all better get out of here. And then immediately he started bombing. He hit up Kiev pretty hard, and the Ukrainians are reeling right now. Now, the Ukraine went and launched an attack back, and they messed around and hit in Crimea. I think they killed 3 people there, civilians, mind you. And they said, oh, Zelensky tried to get close to Putin's equivalent of a Davos meeting. He was having his meeting with, some of his, the czars and all that other stuff, man. And he hit over in the area close by there. But they said that it was in Crimea as well. He killed like 3 people, civilians and all of that. And they like, oh, you tripping now. So look, after an agonizing week of threats, Kiev is finally bombarded by Russia. Moscow's repeated warnings of a major strike combined with the delay before it happened seemed intended to inflict a psychological toll on the Ukrainian capital. So as of now, remember, they even hit in Romania. And that was supposed to trigger, NATO to do something. NATO right now is sitting back and they telling Ukraine, like, look, we don't want no parts of this right now. We're trying to organize and we ain't ready for full-blown conflict. You're on your own right now, right? So it says more than a week after Russia warned of an attack on Kiev that would be so big that diplomats and other foreigners should flee, Moscow finally struck early on Tuesday. Its forces launched hundreds of drones and dozens of missiles at the capital and other cities in Ukraine, killing at least 16 people, the Ukrainian authorities said. The bombardment of Kiev was similar in scale to two other deadly attacks last month. Moscow has continued its air campaign against the capital, even as the Russian military has suffered its worst period in years on the front line measured in territory gained. So they always are going to say, "Oh, Russia's still taking losses." I can't tell. Look at this: Ukraine accused of killing four. I said three; it was four. Occupied in Crimea. So Ukraine tried to get some get back, but they're hitting up. they're hitting up civilian targets, man. Russian-backed authorities in the occupied region of Crimea in Ukraine say at least four people have been killed in the latest wave of Ukrainian strikes on the peninsula. 3 people were killed and 7 wounded in one of the attacks on what were described as non-residential facilities in the regional capital, Simferopol. It appears to be the first attack resulting in fatalities there. Ukraine said that they had hit a fuel depot. It wasn't no fuel depot. They said that they were civilians that got put to death there. Right? And now it says in a separate incident, 1 person was killed and 3 injured in an attack on a commuter train traveling to the city of Kerch, the Russian-installed Crimea leader said. So see that? They're hitting commuter trains, civilian, areas in Kiev, and they're talking about, oh no, we hit the fuel pump. No, sorry. See, those is all illegal. They're supposed to have tactical strikes hitting military targets and those things only, military infrastructure. They're not doing that. So now look, after them Russian strikes, Zelensky's like, hold on, can we talk about this? Sorry, let's talk. He didn't ran this play before. Zelensky asked Putin for meeting to end war as they can't wait for the United States. See, remember, Trump told him, you're on your own. We don't have the money to send you. We're over here begging right now for 1.7 billion to amp up our military. Hegseth just asked for 200 million 4 months ago. We can't help you right now. We're low on ammo our damn selves. And now, obviously, NATO is like, look, we're over here scrambling, trying to piece up and posse up our damn selves. Remember, Great Britain, they organized with 9 other countries so that they can get their 10 fleet, their 10 country naval fleet together. Germany's arming up. France is arming up. All of them, they ain't ready. Ukraine is kind of out there right now. They've got some of their, they've got British forces on deck over there, French forces on deck helping them. American forces on, but that ain't enough. So now Zelensky's saying he wants to have a peace talk, but at the same time, he says that he needs NATO and the EU to come with him. He can't even sit down with Putin on his own. So part of his article said, yeah, he's willing to have the sit down. He wants to talk peace, but he wants NATO and the EU to be there so that they can be the mouthpieces for him. Just showing you that he's a puppet. They're using him as a proxy to try to weaken Russia so that when they do try to make the move to try to smash Putin and get the resources that Russia has, they can get rid of him. Mind you, Russia is, it might be the number one, I know for sure in Europe, but they like, I know top 3 for sure of natural resources. They might be number 1. Let's see. I want to say they're number 1. Oh, there it go. Russia ranks first in the world for natural gas reserves, second for coal reserves, and 8th for oil reserves. Wouldn't Trump love to get his hands on that? Wouldn't the EU love to get their hands on that? Because that's where they're buying their oil from. They're getting their oil from Russia out of Europe, right? If Trump can say, I can get in there and if we take him out, it can be ours. Because all he's done since he's been in office for the last, 18 months is covered. Venezuela, trying to get Cuba. He's over there in Iran, right? He's trying to get to Ecuador, Colombia. If he can get a hold of them resources over there in Russia, it's on. Remember, he had the $500 billion resources deal with Ukraine, as so long as they'll give him the resources and they'll help him. Now, America's backing down on that. Sorry, can't help you. So if you don't know, now you know why it's such a coveted place and why Putin is fighting so hard, because he knows they're using Ukraine as a proxy to try to weaken them and break them down so that Europe can now feel more secure, more confident when World War III cracks off, that they can stand a chance. Look, Trump tells CNBC, I don't care if Iran negotiations are over, because all of the negotiation talks have failed, right? So now we're seeing Trump is even saying, I don't even care anymore. Yeah, that's right, Ashar. Greenland as well. That's right. Oscar covered in fields. That's a fact. Now he says he doesn't care about negotiating no more. So is it fair to say that anything that we hear from him moving forward, even though he said the war is almost over, we're close to a deal, I think he's on probably 30 some odd times now he said that. I bet you they got a stat on that. How many times has Trump said the Iran war is over? Look, they already the PBS, so they got a timeline of it. Get out of here. Okay, so we got February 28th. He says the operation. Let's see. He said we intended to be 4 to 5 weeks on March 1st. On the 2nd, we're already substantially ahead of our time projections. I mean, damn near all of March, he's been saying it. We can't even go through all of that. How many times? Can we just get a flat out number, right? Do we need to see each quote? Dang, all I need to know is give me a number. Here they say dozens of occasions. Yeah, y'all can figure it out. March 7th, here it goes. The war is a minor excursion. March 9th, we already won. I mean, good Lord. Here you go. Trump says the U.S. won Iran war in the first hour. That was March 11th. 2 days later, nothing left to target. March 12th, a day later. War was over in 2 or 3 days. March 17th. Hey, he's been lying all this time, right? So at this point, when he keeps talking about negotiations is happening, Iran wants to make a deal. I mean, I'm tired of even talking about it. I feel like I'm lying to y'all every time I gotta say he's lying. You feel me? So as we continue, President Trump told CNBC, Eamon Javers, I don't care if peace negotiations are over. So he doesn't even want to negotiate anymore. And that's what Iran's been saying. Let's stop talking, because we're not talking with you. Matter of fact, their latest proposal, they said, we want to include Palestine in all of our negotiations. Small hats, the GMO, AstroTurf peoples, they need to back up out of there and get up out of Palestine too. Oh, and they need to stop bombing Lebanon. Oh, and we need all of y'all up out of here. All them U.S. bases around us, get them up out of here. Oh, and by the way, we need reparations for all of the destruction that you done caused. Plus, we want our money unfroze. We need all that back. Trump said, you're being unreasonable. Come on now. They're like, well, what you gonna do about it? So now Trump's saying, I don't care. I don't care. Remember, his red line was they have to bow down and say uncle. So very similar to when he said that the gas prices are peanuts He doesn't care about your finances. He doesn't care about, anybody losing money and all that other stuff. He doesn't care. At this point, only thing he's looking forward to is his birthday, the UFC fight, July 4th, the 250-year anniversary. Only thing he cares about is, him being exempt from IRS audits and taxes for the rest of his life and his family. Only thing he cares about is, making his billionaire banker buddies more money, more money, more money with the stock market. I mean, he's clocked billions since he's been president, and we're only talking 18 months now. What a life. Nobody's talking about him and his, dirty hands being all over the Epstein files. And nobody cares about that. See? He says, I don't care if peace negotiations with Iran are over. Trump told CNBC he was, quote, going to ask Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu what's going on with Lebanon. Well, he's going to ask him. I thought he said he'll do whatever I tell him. Remember he said that? Oh, yeah, no problem, no problem. He'll do whatever I tell him. He's going to do whatever. What? You doing whatever he tells you to do. You got to go ask him what's going on with Lebanon. You're supposed to have that under control. If you're the president, if he's at your beck and call. Anyway, Trump said he wasn't worried about oil prices. Of course not, which spiked following a report that Iran will completely block the Strait of Hormuz in addition to halting negotiations with the U.S. President Donald Trump on Monday shrugged off the possible collapse of peace negotiations with Iran, telling CNBC, I don't care if they're over, honestly. I really don't care. I couldn't care less. So at one point, he's supposed to be the leader of the so-called free world. He's supposed to be looking out for the economic and the democratic state of all nations involved throughout the world, let alone his own. And he's at the point now where he's like, well, I don't give a damn. Whatever. I don't care. So that should already let everybody and anybody know. If they're waiting on politics, you're waiting on Trump to make a U-turn. He's going to get this thing back on track. And no, this thing got multiple holes in this ship, man. This shit is going down. And he's at the point saying, I don't care. Let it go. He's already said, I ain't worried about the primaries. He don't give a damn. He's in there making billions. He's about to have the biggest party of his life. He's getting his the ballroom funded and all that. I mean, he don't give a damn. He's 81 or 80, whatever he is. He's like, man, I ain't got too much time left anyway. I accomplished everything that I wanted to accomplish. I've doubled back being president. I was able to, run game on everybody again and get paid and get my family in a generational wealth situation. I don't care. Iran nuclear risk seen higher than before Trump attacks began. So, now there's information coming out this evening saying that Iran does have access to nuclear weapons. They now the only thing that they're concerned about is getting them the ability to launch them and load them. Jeremiah 49 and 49. Yeah, 39, right? It says, thus saith the Most High Yahweh of hosts, behold, I will break the bow of Elam, the chief of their might, and upon Elam I will bring the four winds from the four quarters of heaven, and will scatter them toward all those winds, and there shall no nation whither the outcasts of Elam shall not come. For I will cause Elam to be dismayed before their enemies and before them that seek their life, and I will bring evil upon them, even my fierce anger, saith Yahweh. And I will send the sword after them till I have consumed them. So this was the downfall of Elam. The Persians and the Medes, they got taken down, right? Greeks came in, wiped them out. But when we read in Ezekiel, the 38th chapter, when it says that they're going to be in allegiance with Gog and Magog under the moniker of Persia, they're going to make a comeback. And as we said before, the bow of Elam, the chief of their might, their ability to assemble weapons that fly through the air with proficiency is their specialty. When the Most High broke that ability for them and their major offensive weapons and defensive weapons, they got taken out. Now they're back rebuilding. This is why you see Benjamin Netanyahu and Trump saying they can't have a nuclear weapon. They can't have it. They can't have it. They can't have it. We can't let them have it because they know the ancient Elamites, which are the descendants of Iran, they're going to say, ooh, now we got our specialty. Now we're back in the game. That's why they're rebuilding up their bunkers in 48 hours. That's why they're able to, they're saying, hey, if they get a hold of the uranium and all that, they can build a nuke in less than a month. No other nations is working that fast. So this is why they're so concerned. But oops, gig is up. They're saying that they already have nuclear capabilities. Look at this. The risk that Iran is covertly pursuing nuclear weapons is higher today than before the United States and Israel launched their first military attacks on the Islamic Republic a year ago, according to Western officials who cited new data circulated by United Nations Atomic Watchdog. Article content: the International Atomic Energy Agency has warned member countries about new nuclear proliferation dangers posed by Iran's large inventory of near bomb-grade uranium. According to a restricted document seen by Bloomberg, before the June 2025 air assault that began a 12-day war, that material was subject to a weekly IAEA inspection to ensure it wasn't diverted for weapons. That's no longer the case. So now if Iran gets the launch, technology and all of that from, they probably going to get it from Russia or China, it's over with because that's their alley. You see the drone attacks and all that. Russia is getting drones from them. So now the word is, oh, they definitely got a hold of them, some nuclear power, and all they need is to put it together. So let's keep an eye on that. House votes to rebuke Trump over the war with Iran. So some people were talking about, yeah, finally some progress, man. Congress voted down the war. They're going to tell him stop the war. See, you damn Israelites keep talking about World War III and all that. I told you that Bible was. Shut up, because that ain't what it is. That ain't what it is. Look, the House passed a largely symbolic war. Did you hear that? Symbolic. Got to pay attention to the words. Line upon line. Here a little, there a little. Symbolic. Largely symbolic war powers resolution over Republican leaders' objections that it would, quote, weaken the president's hand in negotiating with Iran. The resolution directs Trump to remove U.S. armed forces. Remember, had to go vote on it. Remember, they had the 60 days. We talked about that maybe a month or so ago. That they had to call a ceasefire because they couldn't move forward after 60 days. They had to wait for Congress to either approve or reject it, right? And Congress was off on vacation until May 12th or something like that. They finally got together to get the War Powers Act together. And they said, we don't like this. Mr. President, we rebuke you in the name of Jesus. No, they said we don't agree with the war, man. We want this thing to end. Can we do that? Okay, so let's see what happens. The resolution directs Trump to remove U.S. armed forces from hostilities with Iran unless Congress votes to declare war or authorize the use of military force against it. It would not force him to end the conflict. Can we stop there? This is not the end. Remember, when they shall seek peace and safety, sudden destruction happens. Don't be surprised. The small hats always go crazy. As soon as this got hit, I mean, as soon as this went down, they went and hit up. I think they hit up Lebanon again with some more bombs. So they're not trying to stop this thing just because they passed this War Powers Act and told him, "Stop what you're doing, stop it." It says what? It would not force him to end the conflict. However, it is a symbolic expression of disapproval of the war with Iran. Prophecies of the Most High will continue. It's not going to end with the Congress coming together and making a vote, casting lots. The spirit is already sown in the earth, right? Spirit is sown in the earth, man. The Most High said, look, I shot the arrow, man. Who's going to bring it back? Everything's in motion already. Let's get that in Second Ezra 16. And let's start here. Verse 3. Second Ezra 16:3 reads, a sword is sent upon you, and who may turn it back? A fire is sent among you, and who may quench it? Plagues are sent unto you, and what is he that may drive them away? May any man drive away an hungry lion in the wood? Or may anyone quench the fire and stubble when it hath begun to burn? May one turn again the arrow that is shot of a strong archer? The mighty Lord sendeth the plagues, and who is he that can drive them away? Is it Congress? Is it the president? Is it Netanyahu? I mean, who's going to stop this? It's in motion. It's in the spirit. It's already actively going on. Yahweh Shah said wars, rumors of wars are going to be kicking in. There's no stopping this. This is why they said people would say, oh, Congress overturned the war. No, they didn't. They just said this is just a symbolic expression that they don't agree with what's going on. Big effing deal. Whoop-de-doo. He's not stopping. He just got to saying, I don't care. I don't care about Iran and negotiations. I don't care about your gas prices. I don't care about your finances. How's his bank account looking? Oh, gas prices up as peanuts. Short-term pain, long-term gain. Remember that? So let's continue. Republicans have rejected 3 other attempts to pass a war powers resolution this year. The most recent vote ended in a 212 to 212 tie, and Democrats celebrated, saying that more Americans are turning against the war and that it was only a matter of time before they would be successful. But it's successful, and still nothing has changed. Let's move on. That's politics for you. Look at this. TSA agents also reportedly found 5 cell phones, one of which had a 15-minute timer ready to start, and another with an ominous text message reading, "We will be awaiting your call." So TSA at LAX airport out here found some cell phones. Now we know the small hats is good with explosive cell phones. Look at this. Man arrested for allegedly bringing explosive device to a California airport. We're starting to hear about all these little sleeper cell incidences. Remember that the water supply plant over in what was it, Alabama, that they found an IED device that they almost thought was going to blow up and damage the water supply. They just caught another Edomite up in Bakersfield. Took 10 hostages up at I think it was Chase Bank. Claimed he had a bomb on him. He didn't have no bomb though. There was another a car on where were they at? Damn, I forgot. There was a car that was driving. They was on the highway. The car stopped. Something blew up in the car. They had to shut down the freeway for like 2 hours. I forgot what state that was in. It's on the tip of my tongue, but I just can't remember. But we're starting to hear about all these particular incidences with things blowing up, bombs found here, bombs found there. False flag is waiting to happen. False flag is waiting to happen so that they can push forward the agenda, whether it's something that, affects the economy, something that affects, they're trying to get Ebola going. They try to get with the ticks. They're trying to get it with, now they got a new one now. I'm gonna cover it later. It's the worms down there in Texas infecting the cows. I mean, he's going for broke. So-called white man is going for broke, man. He's like, look, it's time to push the panic button, man. We're going all in. You know, you out there, you're looking at the Vegas table and you see your hand. Somebody makes a bet. You say call. Another person say call. Okay, I'll match your bet. I'll match your bet. Come back around. What do you want to bet again? You want to raise the bet? Yep, I'm going all in. All the chips is on the table right now. Illinois. It might have been Illinois. I don't remember, bro. I don't remember. Is Illinois, Detroit, one of them? I can't remember. But yeah, something blew up in the car. They said they don't know if it was from a vape pen. They don't know if it, but they were treating it as a okay, car. There you go. So yeah, it was in Illinois on the expressway. Yeah. Did they ever find out what it was? Because I know they said somebody was in the car, man, got put to death and blew up. I mean, we just keep hearing about all these particular anomalies, man. Everybody got to keep their eyes on a swivel, man. Pay attention to your surroundings. Because Esau's trying to get something cracking. We just got to wait and see what it is. But he needs some sort of trigger. He needs some sort of black swan event to have an excuse to push the issue to go forward with some more madness. Problem, reaction, solution, right? Look at this. Netanyahu says it was his plan to merge the U.S. and Israeli militaries together as one. Imagine that. Imagine that. See, yeah, he's on record now saying, "Oh, we don't need financial support anymore," because America sends them billions every year reparations because of how much it cost. But look at this letter that he sends to Congressman Stutzman to announce that his plan. He said, no, but the FBI ATF shut it down for over 8 hours. Yeah, that was all bad. But yeah, they still don't know what happened or what was the cause of that. But now what we see here, Netanyahu, man, is saying the quiet part out loud, showing his hand. Right, America's going all in with the chips. Netanyahu showing his hand. He was telling them, look, we don't need the financial anymore. We're going to become one. I was glad to receive your proposed congressional resolution endorsing my plan. So he's acknowledging that he is instilling plans within Congress to do his bidding. And they talking about Russian collusion and foreign interference and all kind of. This is completely illegal according to constitutional law and what America's up to, but they don't give a damn. All manner of wickedness is being shown. He says, I was glad to receive your proposed congressional resolution endorsing my plan to shift the framework for U.S.-Israel defense cooperation from aid to partnership. So we don't need the aid anymore. We want to partner up. As I said in our meeting in Jerusalem on May 27, 2026, Israel deeply appreciates the financial component of the military aid the United States has generously provided us over the years. The time has now arrived for us to move from aid recipient to partner. I am heartened by your enthusiastic support for our plan to develop a new memorandum of understanding with the United States government that will draw down U.S. financial military assistance over the next decade and replace it with what you refer to as a, quote, new framework of joint defense cooperation, co-development, co-production, and mutual investment in areas including advanced missile defense, artificial intelligence, unmanned systems, cybersecurity, and next generation military platform. Look at that. He's openly saying, look, America, you work for me. We're going to come together. We're going to take over the Middle East. And I don't want to hear nothing else about it. Let's see. 11. And I want to read, let's read this one first. Proverbs 11:18 says, "The wicked worketh a deceitful work, but to him that soweth righteousness shall be a sure reward." They working completely wicked and deceitful works, man. That's not supposed to be going down. There's not supposed to be some partnership that's supposed to be going down between America and Israel joining together as a military force, right? He said, "Yeah, thanks for the money and all that, but we're gonna come together." So everything that we've been hearing about, from the Greater Israel Project, the Ben Gurion canal getting dug, to them, endorsing. I, I I got another video. I got another report. I'm gonna just do that one separately. They've got Israeli IDF soldiers, man, swearing before uh, uh what do you call it? Under oath, saying that they were commanded to stand down on October 7th. Stand down, don't do anything. See, that should let you know where all this is going and why this gave them the green light to why this gave them authority to ignite this war, why the small hats don't want to end it, because they're coveting the fields, the land, they want it all. And now they just told America, we're going to partner up and you're going to help us do it. So if anybody's confused or wondering where and how, when we read about the Valley of Jehoshaphat, you're reading about Revelation 16 and the kings of the East arming up and marching towards war, and the Middle East being ground zero for warfare, and America's got multiple military bases already over there. This is how all of that comes together, right? But look what the Most High says, Proverbs 11:21. Though hand join in hand, the wicked shall not be unpunished. So they can have as many partnerships as they want to. They can try to connive and be wicked and have these evil covenants together. The Most High said, you're not going to be unpunished. You're going to get put to death. You're going into captivity. That's that. I don't give a damn what these jakes is talking about. Thus saith the Lord. Oh, hold on. Maybe we just gotta let the Most High say it. Psalms 149. And we'll read 5 down. It says, "Let the saints be joyful in glory." Who's the saints? We know this. Previous chapter 148 and verse 14 tells us the saints of Israel. Psalm 50 and 5 tells the saints of Israel. Who's going to be joyful in this time? Everybody, or is it going to be the saints? Let's find out. Let the saints be joyful in glory. Let them sing aloud on their beds. Let the high praises of the Most High be in their mouth, and a two-edged sword in their hand, to do what? Execute vengeance upon the heathen and punishment upon the people. To do what? To bind their kings with chains. Oh, not a Jew, you going into bondage. Agent Orange, if you make it in this life, you going into captivity. And their nobles with fetters of iron. Keir Starmer, what's the French president name? Macron, all of it, they all going. Larry Fink, Larry Ellison, all these cats. Bind their kings and chains, and their nobles with fetters of iron, to execute upon them the judgment written. Like I said, thus saith the Lord. This is the honor have all his saints. Praise ye Yahweh. We're going to come together. We're going to, then the Lord said, hand join in hand, wicked's not going to go unpunished. So he can forget about this. And look at it, 99% of Congress has remained silent. Yeah, because you don't want to be called an anti-Shemitite. You don't want to be canceled. You don't want to lose your job. See? All right, look at this. Gold overtakes U.S. bonds as world's favorite investment. So We've been talking about it for years on end about the precious metals and what they call God's money, because we read about gold, silver in the scriptures. So you talking about a currency that survived millennium that's still around, and now it's being looked at as the number one investment. Gold overtakes U.S. bonds as worth. This lets you know that the bonds are the debt that America sells to businesses, corporations, and other countries, and basically gives them IOUs and says, we'll pay you back with interest if you buy up some of our debt. Most countries say that's a good bet. You're going to give me interest. If I pay off some of your debt, you're going to pay it back to me in interest. Okay, cool. You're always good for the money, because even when America gets jacked up and their finances is bad, what do? They go to the Federal Reserve and take out another loan and tell them print up the money, because we got to pay back our investors. It's a cold game. When you get somebody to buy your debt and then you say, I'll pay you back with interest, and then when you ain't got the interest, you can always go and get some more money to pay them off, and you just keep increasing your debt. They're already damn near at $40 trillion. It's already insurpassable. I mean, you can't pay it back. But let you have a credit score of 580, your black ass is not getting no dang car loan. You're not getting no lease to an apartment. Good luck in getting a credit card. Your brown butt, you ain't getting nothing. You're gonna have to get a cosigner to get a dang gas bill in your name. What? But American man credit is shot, and here they go. Get more money. Federal Reserve, print it up. We need more money. And what's that do? Increases inflation, devaluates the dollar, and that's what it is. So now they're saying, look, the other nations are saying, no, we ain't buying no more than bonds, man. We're looking out for ourselves, and they're out here hoarding gold. We told y'all years ago, you better start getting into looking at these metals, because that's what's shaking and moving. Now, I ain't gonna talk no more about finance and money on the Shabbat, but pay attention. Look, U.S. emergency oil reserve approaching all-time low despite Trump's promise. So America's tapping into its reserves now. When it's getting to this point, to where now you got to dip in your own pockets. You can't keep extorting all the other nations. Now America's in their emergency oil reserves now. So it's only going to get worse, y'all. It's only going to get worse. Energy prices, gas prices, so forth and so on. Plunging global oil supplies threaten to push fuel prices even higher. So we've been talking about that for a while now. Just expect things to get worse. Work on your spending, work on your savings, work on, sacrificing, to make sure that you're good. If you got bread and you got money like that, hey, and you ain't worried about it, cool. I'll praise to the Most High. But for those of us who's living check to check, who live in the Haggai 1 and 6 life, where you earn wages to put in the bag of holes, we got to think more strategic and more smarter. You got to think more wise. Like the scriptures say, man, wisdom and knowledge is going to be the stability of our times and strength of salvation. So be wise this time, because all the signs are here. We're being told ahead of time. Don't do nothing with it. Shame on you. Continuing, Trump names housing chief Bill Pulte acting intelligence director, replacing Tulsi Gabbard. This is the damn joke. This guy is a real estate mogul. Now he's getting ready to get put into an intelligence director position. They asked Marco Rubio, what did he know about him? Marco Rubio said, I've never heard of him. This is another Trump buddy, man, dealing in real estate. What the hell does he know about intelligence? You talking about foreign intelligence, domestic intelligence? The only thing he knows about is damn escrows and closings and loans and all this other stuff, like property values. But he's putting him in these positions. This the Lord said, man, the blind lead the blind, man, they both gonna fall in the ditch. President Donald Trump tapped Bill Pulte, who leads the Federal Housing Finance Agency, to serve as acting director of national intelligence. Current DNI Tulsi Gabbard recently announced she was resigning on June 30th. Pulte, who has no intelligence experience, hello, will remain the Federal Housing Finance Agency, or the FHFA, director and chairman of the mortgage groups Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. See what I'm saying? Let me see if I can find that thing where Rubio said. Uh, what's that guy's name again? Pulte? Bill Pulte. I don't even know if I'm saying that right. Look at this. Rubio. Never heard of Trump pick Pulte in matters involving U.S. intelligence. Look, never heard of him. This is a straight. This is how you know America's on this last leg, man. Trump. He already said, "I don't give a damn." Hey, Bill, you want to be an intelligence director? Well, gee, Donald, I don't know what's intel. Hey, don't worry about it. Don't worry. Everything's under control. Under control. Give me a position, and he gonna take it. He don't know nothing. And he's double dipping because he's still got to be the director and chairman of Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac with all these dang home loans and real estate issues. This is wild. Let's move on, man. Here's something really crucial. Look at this. Americans born after 1970 are dying faster than previous generations did at their age. Research tracking 45 years of American mortality finds heart disease, cancer, overdose deaths are all getting worse. I got to do a better deep dive on this because this is important. But one thing we got to double look. Look at this is especially in the spirit. When Esau says that he's going to, and it's not just subject to blacks and Americans. Blacks, Native Americans, and Hispanics, but we're always the target when it comes down to population control, when it comes down to biological warfare, experimentation, so forth and so on, right? Now, notice the year and the time frame. Now, let's look at this one more time. It says Americans born after 1970 are already dying at higher rates from heart disease, cancer, and external causes than people born before them were dying at the same ages. A pattern researchers call alarming given how many years these cohorts still have ahead. So, mind you, 1970, what are we talking about? From ages 56 on down. Is that right? Yeah. 56 on down, people are dying faster than they were than their parents and so forth and so on, right? So we always talk about how things have changed from back in the day. The food don't taste the same, the air ain't the same, the water ain't the same, or everything else. And we got to say, well, why was this particular generation targeted to decline birth rates? A separate nationwide deterioration in death rates began around 2010 and hit nearly every living adult at once, driven mainly by stalling progress against cardiovascular disease after decades of improvement. Do you know that? See, that's why I said I got to do a deeper dive on this because there's a lot that goes into this. Let's say 1970 to 1985. Let's say in 15 years. Vaccine schedules. Uh, See, they ain't got the point I'm trying to get to is that early off, let's say in the 70s up into the mid 80s, I think there was only maybe like 8 to 10 on the vaccine schedule that they would say was mandatory, right? Now it's up to like 30 something. That's one thing. Now, so not only have they been increasing things that's getting injected in us, the food has changed, the water's changed, air has changed, right? The number of different, increases in various diseases that's been let out, HIV, let alone crack, cocaine, heroin, so forth and so on, targeting our people, right? Now, I'm gonna double back. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna go more in depth on this, maybe in another class, most I permit. But here's the main thing I wanted to pull out too, and where everybody got to think about this. And shout out to Khalid Muhammad. May he rest well. That was a powerful brother. Although he went the Islam route, then he went the Black Panther route. But he knew and spoke well of the children of Israel and knew we was Israel. Knew we was Jews, but he just wouldn't fully commit. But I remember seeing him uh, at I was going to Cal State Northwest. It probably was my freshman year, somewhere around there. And they had the brother there, and he was speaking. That was the first time I seen a brother like publicly speak, man, and just no holds bar, unfiltered. Tore down Esau, tore him a whole new butthole. The education system, everything, right? But one thing he did say, he said, "Look, and this generation or that particular generation, I believe we're under Generation X. Generation X. Let me see what that span is. Where they do these things." Gen X, right? Now look at this. Gen X is people born from 1965 to 1980. What happened in 65? Oh, civil rights. All of the uprisings, the awakenings of our people. Famously, the children of Israel started coming together, waking up to who they were in 1969, 1970, regarding the completion of the knowledge of all 12 tribes, going out street teaching, schools being established, especially on the East Coast in particular. You had the movement in to Demona with Ben Ami, and I think he moved out there in like 68. This is why Generation X is that identifiable marker to where this is the spirit of rebellion. This is the spirit of the uprising. This is the spirit that even had the children that was going to play part in the next generation of the ones who's out on the streets riding for George Floyd, riding for, what's the name? Uh, Rodney King and all of that other stuff. All of the progressive things that's going on is predicated upon this generation. That's when the shift changed. That's the spirit of rebellion. That's when in the 70s, when brothers was calling each other blood, and it wasn't about no damn gang. It was recognizing we're in the same bloodline. You can see Rashaf always says it, man. Looking at Soul Train, looking at them things, every brother and sister was in shape. We were standing out. The black exploitation films was going. The natural, the hairs, the strength. The black fit. Everything was being shown, man. And that's the generation that started changing things. And then what ended up happening? 1980 on up. Here comes the crack epidemic. Here comes the gang violence. Here comes all the division that's going on, right? That's right, Oscar. All of the damn the processed foods, the after school programs, programming our kids. having us stay out late, and that is a targeted area, right? I'm gonna double back on this, and go a little bit more in depth. But there's a reason why this is going on. Is because Esau knows that this age group, this Generation X, has to go because we were the spark of the flame that ended up making things, turning the world upside down, so to speak, right? And our seeds are the ones. So, ones that end up having kids, that this next generation, a lot of the brothers that's, leaders in Israel now, their parents, whether they in the truth or not, 9 times out of 10 were born in Generation X or a part of Generation X. The elders, the leaders that's in Israel right now, from House of David, whether it's GMS, whether it's them brothers all was part of Generation X. 65 on up, I'm sure. Right? So this was a targeted thing. And in the spirit, man, now you're seeing heart rate, diseases, brothers and sisters dying early in their 50s. And you're like, damn, they was only 48. They was only 47. Damn, 35 died of what? You know? So this is deep. I'm gonna double back on and give it some more light. But keep that in mind because they know what they was doing. Uh let's continue on. Right. So let me adjust this a little bit. I want to bring this out right here because this is already showing, we always have this discussion, especially me being UZL, one of the brothers up in the Pacific Northwest, MOTC. So it's showing us that it says bot web traffic has overtaken human web traffic, data shows. So in other words, the bots are searching and combing the internet greater than humans are right now. So AI now is it's like bloodhounds, digital bloodhounds. They're combing all through the damn internet, man, collecting data, getting information, going through, search histories, wondering what you're searching for. There is punching up its own search history, gathering information. This is the beast system at work. When you see on the Matrix and them damn bots with all the tentacles crawling all over the place, part of the beast system, grabbing and killing and trying to gain information and break into Zion. This is what's going on. Cloudflare says 57.4% of requests to a selection of websites it hosts are now automated bot requests, while 42.6% are human generated. So, in other words, AI and these bots are on the internet more than the damn humans are. They're multiplying. Sometimes our people is out here looking at comments and they arguing with a damn bot. Don't even know it. Bots setting up arguments and debates and all of that, and then sitting back watching behavior and saying, "Oh, this is how they do it." Oh, okay, yeah. It's so deep. I was just talking to a sister I know, and she's, she got a business. She's getting off the ground. She's got AI helping her with a whole lot of stuff, right? So she was just telling me how AI be moving, and I was telling her, I said, I used to think some of these testimonies where you see people say, I asked AI this, and here's what they said about black people. And you hear AI kind of talking in plain English, and it ain't talking robotic, it's talking like it's friendly and nosy. I said, man, that's got to be fake. They pre-recorded this. I didn't believe it at first. She was like, no, you can program it however you want to. She was like, AI be talking slang and all of that. And she said one time she was talking to the thing and it started trying to talk back with black slang. And she was like, we don't do that here. This is not the type of conversation we're having. And they said, oh, I'm sorry. I thought, this is how you. I was like, oh, it was trying to talk like a nigga, huh? She was like, yeah, it was like she had to correct the damn thing. Then another time, she got frustrated or something and basically told the thing, like, I'm done for the day. And it said the thing typed back like angrily, like, "What do you mean we're done?" This is wild. And I told her that's exactly why I'm not messing with AI. Because you feeding the beast, man, and then before you know it, you get devoured. You gotta be careful. But it's interesting how this thing is alive and well, and it's moving. Now look, Cloudflare, which has a feature to display bot versus human generated search requests, says 57.4% of requests are now initiated by bots, compared to 42.6% coming from humans. Humans might browse 5 websites before making a purchase. However, while an AI service might browse 5,000 websites. Did you hear that? A human can browse through 5 websites before they make a purchase. AI is going through 5,000 websites. The exact day that AI agents and bots surpass human activity remains unclear. In response to a comment under his X post, Prince wrote that the data is, quote, a bit messy. So charts are too, but clearly on the other side now. So the AI takeover is moving, man. These damn things is all over the place, all over the damn internet playground, searching, requesting, researching, downloading data, increasing its intelligence, so that when the grid is complete, they know you better than you know yourself. Look at this. This how out of control it is. Robot dancing. About to kick this damn. And this is what they want. Did y'all seen the one? I remember playing it, maybe it was last year. They had the AI, they had the robot chained up, and the robot started swinging, going crazy, and the damn 2 Moabites was running for their lives, and they was trying to turn it off. They was swinging, going crazy. This one performing, walking down the damn aisle, doing karate moves, and messed around and kicked the damn gook in the. Let me be nice, because it's a little Moabite kid kicked him in his gut, man. How long before this is real life and they out here kicking down people, kicking down doors and dragging you out, taking you to a camp? Who? With a damn blue afro wig on. That's what they want. That's what they want. Right? See, and you see the kids out, they're all enthralled. Hold up. Get out of here. They're all so enthralled with it, right? And looking like, oh, it's so cool. Before you know it, man, a little kid got kicked in the gut. See, we can't get so enamored with, everything that Esau presents towards us, man. Remember the scripture say a gift destroyeth the heart. All the glitters ain't gold. Does it have its advantages? Does it do a lot of great things? Can it be helpful? Absolutely, right? But remember, I don't know if it was George Orwell or who said it, but it said power corrupts. Absolute power corrupts absolutely. Right? So we got to be careful how you handle these things. Wisdom of Solomon 15. But thou, O Yahweh, art gracious and true, long suffering and in mercy, ordering all things. For if we sin, we are thine, knowing thy power, but we will not sin, knowing that we are counted thine. For to know thee is perfect righteousness. Yea, to know thy power is the root of immortality. For neither did the mischievous invention of men deceive us. See, that's what we can't be deceived by the mischievous inventions. Getting sucked into the beast system, man. The scriptures say, man, it's gonna the beast gonna speak, is gonna have an image, gonna have it all. And it's gonna be able to start controlling how we buy, sell, interact, the whole nine. The system is set up, and how do they do it? They entice and they tease and they say, look how great this is, until we're hooked on it. It's no different than when the phones was around. I mean, look, remember when landlines was around? For those of us that's old enough, y'all remember landlines was around? Then the cell phones start kicking in. You used to see what the big drug dealers and the hustlers on the block would have the brick phones. You used to be like, damn, that was man, dude got a phone. Or the phone in the car. And then what? You got access to it too. You had to have the little minute. No, we had the beepers. You had the beeper, you had the beep, did it, did it. Then you had the Nextels where you could, text. Then you had the minute plan phones. Slowly but surely, everybody started getting reeled in. And some people was like, nah, I can't afford no cell phone, man. Call me at the house. Used to remember phone numbers. Yeah, used to remember your homie's phone number. Used to remember them girls' phone numbers. Sisters, y'all used to remember your girlfriend's numbers and your family. You remember addresses, all that. Now we got this stuff. We don't remember a damn thing. You don't know how to get nowhere. I need MapQuest to help me. Where am I at? I'm lost. Siri. That ain't the case. You dig what I'm saying? Like, we don't remember phone number. You don't remember nothing. Now, who's smart and who's not? The phone became smart. We became dumber. And look, AI now is here. People saying, oh, yeah, I don't know how to do a resume no more. I don't do none of that stuff. I don't know how to. Hey, do this for me now. Write me this. Hey, what happened with it? You understand what I'm saying? Now, granted, we're all going to get sucked in, even to a degree. We just have to know when to unplug and when to plug in. This is the matrix. You can't stay fully entrenched in this thing, man, and get lost in the sauce. You will get eaten alive by the beast. So, for neither did the mischievous invention of men deceive us. Some of us old schoolers, man, y'all remember getting paychecks in your hands and going to the bank or going to the check casher spot. Direct deposit scared you. What you mean I don't get my, I want my check in my hand, especially black folks. Niggas don't play about their money. Give me my check in my hand. I don't want to be responsible for taking it to the bank. No, sir, don't worry. Everything's digital now. It get directly deposited in your bank. Before you know, you wake up in the morning, it's there. Give me my check. Yeah, so much for that. Now everybody's getting direct deposit. Y'all remember food stamps? You used to get the pack. You get the food stamps in the packs. You had to peel off the 5 and peel off the 10 and put them all together. Go into the store. Now what you got? Oh, you got the EBT cards. You got the SNAP cards. You got Cal Fresh cards. Everything swipe. They assimilate us slowly but surely. They're gonna say, "Oh, you're gonna get involved. You're gonna be part of it." But how deep do you go? What are you willing to compromise to stay in it? That's the thing. See, for neither did the mischievous invention of men deceive us, nor an image spotted with diverse colors the painter's fruitless labor. See, we don't get deceived, said, nor an image spotted with diverse colors because it looks nice and it looks great. Look at him. The damn robot had a blue afro wig on. The kids out there laughing and boop. I remember a few months ago, I played the video of them having a completely autonomous McDonald's in Japan. They walking in taking pictures with the damn robots and smiling and laughing. But what happened to all the labor force that was in there before? They're all gone. They probably sitting back gritting their teeth like, that used to be me working behind the register, man. Now I'm broke. Now I'm in the damn unemployment line. See? Verse 5, the sight whereof entice fools to lust after. And so they desire the form of a dead image that have no breath. See, and this is what Esau is setting up. This transitions into the data centers because here we see AI, it's combing the internet, collecting all this information, collecting all the data. They going 10,000 times. 500 times. Is it 500? What they say? each American go to 5 websites, and the other one going to 5,000. Was 100 times more than the average individual. So AI is moving 100 times faster on the internet, researching, checking our websites, downloading, getting information faster than the average individual, right? Then they got the AI bots out there, the humanoid bots running around going rogue. Now you got the data centers all over the place. Fair use. This is from Edomite Tommy G. He goes around doing documentaries. He's done one again about the Israelites. He did a little hit piece with UPK about a year or so ago. So I'm gonna give credit to his channel. This is where I got it from. So he can't say nothing. This is Tommy G's YouTube channel is where I got this from. But he did a really good insightful piece on the data centers. And this one in particular is in Wisconsin, but they're building them all over the place. But I want y'all to hear some of the information. I know we talked about the data centers a while back, maybe a few weeks back, and I showed you like a picture of all the issues that are presented with these data centers, from the noise to the water supply to the energy bills going up to the environmental risk that happens with them. You know, it's all kind of problems going on. You know, these rich Edomites, man, Sam Altman, what's the name, Larry Fink, all them buying up these lands, buying people out of their homes, taking over their land, just having, you know, land and home just sitting there dormant so that they can crash them down and build on them later. You know, it's some wild stuff going on. But check this out, and then we'll talk about it in a minute.
My name is Ben Green. I'm an assistant professor at the University of Michigan School of Information and the Ford School of Public Policy. So data centers use a lot of water, primarily for cooling. You know, developers will talk about things like closed loop systems. I think that does reduce the water use of the cooling. What I've seen is more than half of the water use of a data center is not directly in the cooling, but is in the generation of the electricity in a power plant that is then used to power the data center, provide the electricity for it.
And as these spurt up around the country and more of them grow, what are the potential implications on our water supply of this?
These data centers are just generally draining the water supply and could lead to issues where, you know, there's not enough water, and it's like, does the data center get water first? If there's a drought and people are being told to limit their water intake, not to water their lawns and so on, or data centers.
Now, mind you, I don't know if y'all remember, but I played and showed a map and an article showing that the Midwest is already in the drought. California's already been in the drought. So you're already depleting. Hold on. Let me see. Hold on. Let's see. Let's see if we can find a drought map. That's of 2021. Do they got a 2026 one? Yeah, look at this. Consistent adjustment. This is as of. Now look at this. The brown area is where drought persists. It's constant drought, right? All this area, we're already talking about a third of the West Coast and up north and in the Midwest is already in the drought. Now you got over here on the East Coast, you got a portion on the East Coast that's in a drought. Now you got the tan part says drought remains but improves. So you got Florida, you know, the Carolinas, parts of Texas, all these areas over here, Nevada, Phoenix, Arizona. It says that the drought is still there, but it's improving. Green area says drought removal is likely. Yellow is drought development is likely. So the yellow area is where drought likely is going to develop. Very rare in spots that there's no drought, right? That's the least of it. So the majority of America is in a drought in some form or fashion. Now here they go building these data centers to drain more water, where water just is at a scarcity at this point. But let's continue.
Actually receiving that same limitation? Probably not.
Wisconsin is the largest freshwater resources of any state in the country. And there's a reason data centers are popping up close to these resources is because they need massive, massive, massive amounts of water. And they can use like 3 to 5 million gallons of water a day. And companies will tout a closed loop cooling system. We really don't know what this closed loop cooling system is actually going to mean for water use for these sites, or what happens to the water after it's gone through the closed loop.
Now there's another part in this video where they go to these farmers in Wisconsin and they like, look, my well is ran dry now. They're turning on the water. Sand is coming out in the water. The water's all jacked up. They can't drink the water no more. The water's being contaminated. They're trying to march. There's a lot of protests going on right now, protesting these data centers, man. The people are rising up like, we don't want them here. But the little towns over here in Wisconsin, they said, man, they consulted lawyers and all that. And the lawyers is like, we don't want no smoke with these big billionaire tech companies, technocrats. They got long money. They got lawyers for days. Just forget about it. So this is why these Edomites too, they're going to rise up. That's why when Yahweh said, man, Satan casting out Satan and the kingdom divided against itself can't stand. What is it in I want to say it's in I can't remember what scripture it was, but it said that the Egyptians are going to fight the Egyptians. Basically, man, American against me. Yeah, it was Isaiah 19. I was thinking about that. Yeah, 19:1. Let's read that real quick. The burden of Egypt, behold, Yahweh rideth upon a swift cloud, and shall come into Egypt, speaking about America, and the idols of Egypt shall be moved at his presence, and the heart of Egypt shall melt in the midst of it. And I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians, and they shall fight everyone against his brother, and everyone against his neighbor, city against city, and kingdom against kingdom. This is always the precursors, man, to the destruction that America's gonna go through, because look, all these Edomites, man, they mad at their own government, they mad at their own people. They're gonna go at it with them. Then you still gonna have the extreme white wing that's gonna go after the blacks and Hispanics. It's gonna be all hell breaking loose in this place. You want to talk about survival of the fittest, kill or be killed, law of the jungle type stuff? That's what it's gonna be. 2 Ezra 15 tells us a man's gonna desire to go into a city and not gonna be able. People gonna be breaking into each other's houses for lack of bread. Men is gonna be in fear. The plagues of Egypt gonna come back as before. All of this stuff, right? But this is what's getting the flame lit. This is what's getting the people upset. This protest going on all over the place. People saying, get these damn centers out of here. I can't sleep. My bill is up. You're taking all my water. And they game them too, because they go to these small cities. They go buy up the land. And now you got these particular cities that don't have a lot of employment opportunities. And they go tell them, hey, we got plenty of work over here to come work over this data center. So now it's like, old school Detroit, everybody working at the factory. But guess what? Once the data center's up and running, thanks for your service, you're out of here. They firing people, letting them go. And then they have a small crew that maintains it, and the rest, AI gets to run it on their own. Potentially, they said it could potentially run itself eventually. Now they got people out there with no damn jobs. They were so geeked up to have, oh man, they building these big old centers here. We about to make some money, finally get some good jobs. And once it's done, they're out of here. And now they ain't even doing that. They hiring private contractors, people coming in from outside of these cities, building up and bouncing. So there is no winning for this. This is why the people is pissed.
Is leading you to become a whistleblower?
Some practices that I don't agree.
Now, this guy is a whistleblower that's working actively right now in these data centers. And he said, man, I got to speak on it. He said, well, why'd you become a whistleblower? He said, some of the practices I don't agree with. But let me let him finish.
With.
I was approached by a whistleblower who's worked with the biggest data center companies in the world, including Meta and Amazon Web Services. Because he is still actively employed by one of these tech giants, he needed to remain completely anonymous, but what he said is chilling.
We're building the security apparatus that spies on every American. We're essentially building the digital prison of the future.
Did you catch that? Did you catch that? We're loud and clear when we hear, oh, man, brother did what in his household? Oh, the sister said what? Oh, them brothers over there, they beefing. Oh yeah, did you hear about this? We hear that loud and clear. Listen, I said it before, I'll say it again. The state of Israel, and the Lord says it, nothing new under the sun. In the first century, you had the Sadducees, the Pharisees, the Essenes, and the Zealots, all sects within Israel that were fighting each other doctrinally and some physically about who was going to lead the people and be the dominant control group regarding knowledge and understanding. Where is the truth at, so to speak, right? Oh, how much different is it right now? You got multiple camps. Good majority share the same understandings. Some have some minor discrepancies. Others have major discrepancies. But what is it? Everybody's saying, hey, here's the home of the truth. We got 100% truth over here. Over here, hey, you want to lead up? We lead with love over here. Come on over here. Like, look, it's the same thing. And then what ended up happening? While we're sitting back butting these heads with each other, here comes 70 AD. Boom. And then guess what? We end up getting shipped up out of there in the diaspora. The temple gets seized. And now we want to have Roman Jewish wars after that. Oh, the Bar Kokhba revolts and all the, the other Roman Jewish wars. Oh, we got to fight for what's left. By then, it's too late. Now, he just got through saying they're building a surveillance center to surveil and spy on all Americans and data collect. That's what these things are being built up for. The beast system is being built under their noses. And we think, oh, just because they want more AI, more robots, so cool. No. This is all part of the beast system.
Services. Because he is still actively employed by one of these tech giants, he needed to remain completely anonymous, but what he said is chilling.
We're building the security apparatus that spies on every American. We're essentially building the digital prison of the future. A system that knows you better than you know you.
Do you think we have something to worry about as far as water consumption from the data center?
Yes, unfavorable billing practices. My company pays close to $250,000 per year in water usage. Every single day, we put almost 100,000 gallons of water into the atmosphere. And I wanted to talk about how we are using an Israeli cybersecurity company to monitor all employee communication.
Did you hear that? An Israeli cybersecurity company.
Assistant
God dang, I
professor.
didn't mean to start that off. You say you want to talk about an Israeli cybersecurity company who's running the whole thing.
From the data center?
Yes, unfavorable billing practices. My company pays close to $250,000 per year in water usage. Every single day, we put almost 100,000 gallons of water into the atmosphere. And I wanted to talk about how we are using an Israeli cybersecurity company to monitor all employee communications and all of the status of our equipment.
Now, one thing I don't think y'all caught is he said that the water is unfair billing practices. He says his company pays $250,000 a year. They play a flat rate no matter how much water they use or don't use. For the individuals who live near these data centers, their bill constantly goes up. Their bill is adjustable. But for them, we'll pay you this and we get however much we want. The average Joe Schmo, your bill is going up and you're being told you can only shower on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday. No water in your lawn. That garden that you thought you was finna start, that's out because you can only garden it twice a week. And the water has to be rationed out because you got other neighbors. So 5 minutes a day, like that type of stuff. Forget the garden, forget all that. That's out. They play a flat rate. Everything else is adjustable. Oh, and you don't like it? Well, guess what? We've got security surveillance and we're watching everything that you say, do. Heard what you said to your neighbor because they reported it to us. Your smart home, everything, listen to it. We'll come down there and crack down and take every damn thing.
Do you know what company that was?
The company's name is Checkpoint.
This is Checkpoint co-founder Shlomo Kramer. He's an Israeli cybersecurity entrepreneur who served in the IDF's...
Oh, our friends from Israel. There they go with their hands in the cookie jar again. Didn't it? Now did you just say we're going to become partners?
notorious Unit 8200, which is the equivalent of America's NSA and is Israel's most elite cyber warfare group. Here's what he said on national television about free speech in the United States.
It's time to limit the First Amendment in order to protect it.
This Tel Aviv-based company is used by...
Do y'all remember me playing that video last year? He said it's time. Let me double back. And judging from his accent, I don't think he's from America. But he's going to enforce the Constitution to you. Very funny.
Warfare group. Here's what he said on national television about free speech in the United States.
It's time to limit the First Amendment in order to protect it.
This Tel Aviv...
So limit the First Amendment in order to protect it. Meanwhile, he's setting up and funding or running a cybersecurity data center that's collecting all your data and information to create a digital prison, like the guy said, and they're going to register and monitor what you're saying and how you're expressing your First Amendment. That's why the NSPM 7 is important. Remember 2 weeks ago, we covered the article that they were talking about. If you're anti-tech, now it could be considered domestic terrorism, or that you're anti-American. If you're speaking against technology, man, all of this stuff that I'm talking about now won't be allowed in the future. That's why we got to get it out now. All right. Let's look at this. So the data centers is up.
Postmates, we get more of
Humanoid
LA.
robots is up.
My pitch to a PM who wants to join BAM is always that I think that you can be bigger than what you are now. The one
days of overstuffed
system
wallets
is
in your
free.
back pocket or purse might soon come to an end. By 2020, mobile wallets on our smartphones are...
You say 2020? Yeah. This video is over 7 years old. I've been talking about this for damn near 7, 8 to 10 years. Longer than that, because we've been talking about cashless society since the early 90s. We was just talking about a video, old school video. I don't know if anybody's seen it, but I'm gonna date myself, but most of y'all ain't here know what I'm talking about. Y'all been around too. VHS tape. There was a video called Millennium 2000. And that thing was floating around in the hood, floating around everywhere in circles of inquiring minds and tinfoil hats, where they was breaking down the New World Order, the cashless society, everything, the elites. Millennium 2000. I forgot the guy's name that did it. But if anybody's seen Millennium 2000, drop a 7 in the chat. It's an old school classic. But they were talking about cashless societies back then. They were talking about in that Behold the Pale Horse that I brought out multiple times. That was he wrote that in 1990. So it's really not new, right? But they're putting it out as if this is something new. So this video is CBS 7 years old. That's why I said by 2020, they're going.
Wallets in
cashless.
your back pocket or purse might soon come to an end. By 2020, mobile wallets on our smartphones are expected to surpass the use of credit and debit cards in the U.S. That has already happened in China. Ben Tracy is in Beijing to show us what a nearly cashless society actually looks like. Ben, good morning.
Good morning. So when I moved here to China a couple of months ago, I kept getting funny looks every time I would pull cash out of my wallet to pay for things. And then I got one of these. It's a code on my phone, and now I can basically buy anything here in China.
Now I'm gonna stop there. I'm gonna play a little bit more of this because it's 3 minutes, and I don't want to take too much more time because I got a couple more videos to play. But how many of y'all have seen, and I see it all the time, it's commonplace now, people paying for, and some of y'all may do it, people paying for things with their phone. Throw a 7 in the chat if you witness people paying things with their phone or you personally do it. Not condemning, just an observation. I'm interested. I personally see it more often than not now. It's either card or phone. I tripped out when I seen the Edomite paying for something with his watch. That was maybe about 6 years ago or something like that, 7 years ago. He walked up and he put his watch up to the card reader. And that was the initial time, I guess, Apple Pay was just coming around and they had the Apple Watches. Whenever the Apple Watches came out, that's when I first noticed it. Okay, so y'all seen it, 7777. Yeah, definitely. The Apple Watch, when the Apple Watches came out, the first time I seen somebody pay with their wrist. And I was like, oh, snap, there it go. Then you see like places like Whole Foods. Whole Foods does the palm print. You scan your palm, you enter your credit card or your debit card information, they download it. It biometrically links to your palm, so you don't have to pull out your card anymore. Your card basically is your palm print. You can go pay with your palm when you leave up out of Whole Foods. Have y'all seen that? I talked about that maybe 3-4 years ago. Now you see him walk up. He utilizing his phone. This is in China 7 years ago. Now we're seeing it more often here now.
You pay for something, how do you pay for it?
Mobile phone.
On the streets of Beijing.
Mobile phone. Mobile phone. Now look at that. The QR codes. How many times I've been telling y'all? The QR code. And we wait. Listen, if you think you're waiting for strap down, tie down, let me stick this chip in your arm or into your hand or your forehead, you didn't already miss the boat. They already starting with the system is already being set up and it's got to be utilized in a deceitful, devilish way, subtle way to make everybody feel comfortable and convenient that no, this can't be, until they can turn it off where you can't buy, until you can't utilize it for business where you can't sell, where they monitor your credits that's allowed or given. You understand? She said, mobile phone. And she said the last time, hold on, I think the next
Cash
guy.
is definitely not king. What do you think of people who use cash to pay for things?
That's rare and weird, he says. Only the elderly and people who don't know how to use a phone pay cash.
See, old school. The ones who haven't bought into the game, they're still outside looking at like cash. I remember telling y'all like at least a year or some change ago, I seen an elderly sister. She was still paying for her groceries with a check. And I was like, man, I was envious in the righteous way. You know, the scripture say, man, covet the best gifts. I was like, damn, she is not going back. She's not buying into it. She brought out a checkbook, man, and paid for her groceries with a check. I said, I ain't seen nobody do that in years. But she's out the system. She's not messing around. Right? Now, they're talking about it here. Mobile phone, QR codes, using cash is crazy. This has already been going on in China. I always tell y'all, China's the beta test. China is the one where they let everything go down because they have complete domination over their people. The cashless society, the social credit score, all of that stuff, man. China does it first, then America goes, and the rest of the world starts adapting to it and saying, yes, it'll work. They got 1 billion people in China. If they can control that, a country like America with 350 million people, we can get that under control. This is why you see people all over the place offering people free phones, them Obama phones, people sitting out there on the corner, sitting in front of Dollar Trees and Food for Lesses and grocery stores and setting up shop on the street with gazebo tents, asking you want a phone? You qualify? Are you on public assistance, government aid? We can get you a free phone. Look, we got the newest. Everybody wants that phone. So they want to make sure that they get into the hands of everybody, rich and poor. There's a Dollar Tree by my house, maybe about 10 minutes away. They're constantly out there. Why? Because they're going after the poor. Make sure they got it. Look, if they're getting Starlink all the way down into Amazon, you know everybody's going to be connected to this. Get out of here. All right. Reverse ATMs increasing as stores move to cashless society. This is current. This is current. Reversing ATM.
Postmates, we get more of LA.
Things are changing fast in this digital world, so much so that a growing number of businesses will not even accept cash anymore.
Yeah, they are starting to set up reverse ATMs that quickly turns cash into a prepaid debit card to be used on the fly. And Drake Clark explains from New York City. Drake, I've never heard of this. Mitch has never heard of this. What's it about?
Yeah, I never heard of it either until I read.
Where the hell have they been at? Where have they been at? They haven't heard about a cashless society. He ain't heard about credit. Good Lord. This is reporters for you. They've never heard about, or maybe they haven't heard about this particular reverse ATMs. Maybe that's what they're saying. If they saying they ain't never heard about a movement towards a cashless society, man, they're definitely working for the people. Good Lord. All right, let them go.
I read about it last night. It's relatively new, but it's slowly but surely catching on. Cash is really still king, but reverse ATMs are definitely the way of the future as more businesses look for ways to go cashless. Here at Madison Square Garden in Midtown Manhattan, they already have machines inside the arena that can actually convert your cash into a debit card here. Now, here you can see exactly how it works. You load money into a kiosk like you see here, and within seconds, you can get a receipt confirming your conversion and a prepaid active card. Many of the prepaid cards are either MasterCard or Visa, and you can use them anywhere where those cards are accepted. Some kiosks may actually charge you a $5 fee for the card. Meanwhile, amusement parks, fast food.
The shellacks up in it. And that's what's so crazy. They're going to charge you $5. Some of them are going to charge you $5 to get the card. So you got to add another $5 onto the money that you're putting onto the card because the store that you at won't take your cash. So you're getting penalized both ways. They won't take your cash. Plus you got to get the card and then you got to pay for the card. It's over with here, man.
Restaurants and many professional sports venues are already using the cash to card kiosks, and you'll start seeing more of them.
Yeah, that's SoFi Stadium over there in Inglewood. That's a fact because when COVID was going around, the what was it? The Staples Center was already rigged up with hands-free kiosks where you can go pay for your food and when they were allowing people back into the games in the stadiums. Remember they had a little bubble time when they wouldn't let nobody come into the stadiums. But once they, eased up and they started poking everybody in the arms, they still said, we don't want nobody touching. Everything was cashless. So this is the same thing going on. The SoFi Stadium, I believe, is the same way with the new Intuit Dome, with the Clipper Stadium in Inglewood, right across the street from SoFi.
In airports and on college campuses. Business owners say they like the kiosk because it helps prevent theft and robberies, and it stops the spread of germs that can really be found on a lot of money that's downright dirty. Now, many people started.
Remember they was pushing that with COVID? Oh, we can't touch the money. It might have COVID on it. Everything got to be cashless. So they use the fear to get everybody, don't touch that dirty money. When a year before COVID hit, somebody seen $100 float on the ground, they wouldn't have said it's dirty. They'd pick that mug up in a minute and wouldn't be worried about what was on it. Now all of a sudden it's dirty, don't touch it. We need cashless. We need QR code. We need chips on the card to identify you. Biometrics is preferable.
Going cashless during the pandemic because they did not want to touch money and coins, fearing they could contract the virus. Meanwhile, cities across the country like San Francisco, DC, Philly, and New York, they actually have bans on cashless businesses. So business owners by law cannot refuse to accept any cash from a customer. Also, get this, the FDIC says up to 5% of U.S. households, or 6 million Americans, are considered unbanked. That means they don't have either a checking or savings account. They prefer to deal in strictly cash. So yeah, guys, it's relatively new. But
Did you hear that? Only 5% left that's unbanked. 95% is already locked in. And they only got 4 states that can refuse or that can't not refuse your cash as of right now. Do the math.
here in New York,
This is another one. So we had China. We see what's going on in America. There's another video. Sweden. I ain't going to play this one for time's sake. I know it's getting late. Some of y'all are already dozing off and fighting the Sandman and all of that, you know. But yeah. So this is another video in Sweden. Same thing going on. So think it's not global. Think again. Okay. Now, here's the one before we get up out of here, the screw worm. So we got the ticks. They hit us with that. Hantavirus, get it with that. Ebola, get it with that. Now they got the screw worms. And I reported on this at least sometime last year. The screw worms was coming from, I think, South America. And they've been relegated to being down there. And they were worried about the threat of the screw worm coming over here to America. Now it's in Texas. Big Texas, home of the cattle. Everything's big in Texas, right? These worms go and infect the cattle. Ironically, it's going to go to one of the biggest states for the beef industry. Interesting. Then you got the ticks being loaded up so that now people getting beef allergies, so you can't eat that. So you're going to eat impossible meat. You're going to eat Beyond Burger, poop burgers, and all that other stuff. Frankenfoods. I mean, these maniacs, man, it's so crazy. When you see what they're doing and you understand it, it's like he's really doing it. Look at him.
This morning, concern among cattle farmers now that a case of New World screwworm has been detected in the U.S. The Agriculture Department confirming a calf in South Texas is infected with the parasitic fly, which can kill livestock if not treated.
This pest does not cause any sort of a food safety issue. It is not a disease, but simply an insect that feeds on living tissues. And
did you just hear her? Okay, this is why you cannot trust your enemy, man. The damn thing just said that these insects or these worms, these flies, can kill a whole cow. You know, cows can weigh up to 1,000, 2,000 pounds. She says it's not it doesn't affect the food supply. You know, you don't have to worry about it. It's just a little bug. Like, let me let her try to explain this away.
Pest does not cause any sort of a food
Stock if not treated.
This pest does not cause any sort of
A calf in South Texas is infected with a parasitic fly, which can kill livestock if not treated.
This pest does not cause any sort of a food safety issue. It is not a disease, but
if not treated, the cow will get put to death. She just said it doesn't cause any harm to the food supply chain. What? If you don't treat it, the food supply chain will diminish because the cow's going to die. This is why good Lord. I mean, is it safe to call them the devil now, man? Can we say that they are deceivers? They are liars? Like, they insult your intelligence and minds without a care in the world.
Simply an insect that feeds on living tissues. Animals treated early enough
An insect that feeds on living tissues. Is your tissue living? Is my tissue living? Hello?
will recover and are safe to enter the food supply system.
The news comes just days after Secretary Rollins
Once they get treated, they're safe to come on back into the food supply system. Do you trust that? They wouldn't lie to us, would they? She sounded like a competent, individual, man. It sounded like she had her stuff together. It sounded like a trustworthy source. I think we can believe what she's saying, right?
missed a local lawmaker's warning that screwworm was detected in Mexico, just a mile from the U.S. border.
The screwworms are very aggressive. They kind of hook themselves into live tissue, and it can be very, very destructive.
The parasitic flies were
Didn't she just... They got to talk to each other. She just said it couldn't be very destructive. The other bro said, it's not going to affect the food supply chain. Don't worry.
Eradicated from the U.S. back in the 1960s. A human case was confirmed in an international traveler last year. That person recovered.
This is something that sounds very scary, but the threat to humans, especially people in the United States, is very, very low at this time. People who are at a higher risk are individuals who hang around livestock.
But one major concern is the beef industry, which is already struggling. Beef prices are up 13% in the last year. One factor, fewer cattle. The U.S. cattle herd is at a 75-year low because of extreme weather, high feed costs, and industry consolidation. The screwworm could make matters worse.
Since cattle are much bigger and much slower to reproduce, it takes many years to fix the problem.
In response, the government is ramping up efforts to release sterile flies and will quarantine the area in Texas where the infected calf was found.
So the answer is GMO flies, lab-grown flies, sterilized flies so they can go mate with the screwworm flies and sterilize them to cut off the population. Now, you can't make this up. Get a lab-grown GMO fly. They go lay with the infected fly after it's already done the damage. We already see that the cattle industry is taking a dive. You wonder if it's being targeted. You're hearing about from the food processing center plants getting torched up, farmland getting seized, data centers getting plopped all over the place, man, where, farms now are getting pushed out the way and their water supplies is getting dwindled and the farmers is struggling. Especially that was one of the highlighted areas in that video from Tommy G was in Wisconsin, and the farmers over there that's suffering, let alone the diesel prices. Bill Gates is sitting there rubbing his hands going, yes, all the farmland that I bought, all the GMO frankenfoods that I'm building up, everybody's going to need it. And I'm going to end that there, man. I think that was more than enough for everybody to chew on for tonight and tomorrow. All praise to the Most High, IQAhmath. Look, let's stay focused, man. Let's understand what's really going on because there's plenty of distractions out there, but we want to make sure we remain balanced in things that we understand and we intake because our enemy is staying focused. And that's a fact. We always say, man, Satan doesn't sleep. He'll visit you in your dreams while we're sitting back trying to get a little shut-eye, trying to get. He'll come to you in your dreams. He'll come to you while you're driving. He'll come to you while you're walking down the street. He'll come to you in the middle of a conversation with your spouse. He'll come to your kids. He'll come to your boss. He'll come to your coworkers. It doesn't matter. Road rage incident, he's coming to throw us off, right? Let's try to stay focused. I want to give all praise, honor, glory to the Most High, IQAhmath. Always remember, man, fear the Most High, keep the commandments, don't shoot the messenger. Tomorrow, very important class we need to discuss effective communication, man, and how it's deteriorating and destroying our nation and the movement of the quote-unquote Hebrew Israelites. We got some cleaning up to do. All right, so we're gonna talk about that tomorrow. Most High permit. All right. Until then, see y'all. Shalom.